The reform of the social services system in Ukraine has been in need for improvement and high-quality legislative support for a long time now. After all, unlike the other areas of social security in the state, such as welfare, benefits of subsidies, they can actually help citizens to overcome or minimize the consequences of difficult circumstances in life. In January 2019, Ukrainian Parliament adopted a new version of the law on social services. I would say that this is the most important reform to be carried out for improving the social security of citizens in the last 10 years at least. If we take into account, prior to this significant step, there was pension reform, under which a three-tier pension system was introduced at legislative level. It still has not been implemented in real time. This is actually a very important reform. It progressed in several stages. This law, in its new version, had a very difficult adoption process. A lot of non-government organizations were involved, and activists also took part in various processes. From now on, the state has several key tools that will assist in effectively implementing social security for the population. First of all, this is social insurance, which the country unfortunately has only developed in that part connected to employment. The issue here is the loss of the ability to earn or the occurrence of an insured event, unemployment, or the system of social pension insurance, about social benefits, which are very widespread in the country, and about social services. Social services are a social security tool that helps to provide targeted support for families. I mean, for example, when we speak of a person temporarily losing his or her ability to earn and getting paid sick leave, getting certain benefits, or a person with low income also receives certain benefits. In fact, nobody can guarantee that these benefits will be spent on overcoming the difficulties of life that a person is suffering from. On the other hand, the social care that is currently present, like daycare for the disabled or care for elderly people delivered at home, is a very clearly and specifically targeted service to help a particular person or family. Around the world, in countries with high social responsibility, such as, for example, Switzerland or Norway, a larger share of national income is directed at social services, and a smaller share is directed at social benefits. The share of social services in Ukraine is incredibly low. Up till now, we had a very vague responsibility until this reform got adopted. It's because all of it was written with commas. As a result of decentralization, an uncertain situation was created, where everyone was named responsible, the district, the community, and everyone else. A new law will come into force from January 1st, 2020, which clearly sets out that social services lie firmly within the powers of amalgamated territorial communities. This means that it is communities that, without waiting for any directions or subventions from the state, using their own efforts, will provide a basic package of social services, which are clearly prescribed by the new law. Some experts say that there's too many of those, but seeing how this all works in practice is impossible until the whole thing is implemented in full legislatively.
Звичайно, було би корисним і потрібним
It would be very important that the village, town, city councils, those that became centers of community amalgamation, those that are already united between themselves and want to unite with cities of regional significance, instead becoming independent communities, so that these communities, from the perspective of social policy and all other powers, from the perspective of funding social tasks, are all on an equal footing with cities of regional significance.
З містами обласного значення.
Basic services, the breaking up of the market monopoly, to which end the law establishes uniform requirements for providers of social services in all forms of ownership, public, communal, and private, as well as a register of social services, are the key advantages of the new law. The next step should be combining all these tools into a single system of social security, where every family would be clearly visible. For example, when a family applies for low-income benefits, no one will ask these low-income people, do you have enough for the basics? And the formula used there is that they supplement a living wage, which set very low, with 300 or 400 hryvnias paid per family. If you have a family, no one asks, what about the children in this family? Do the children eat well? Do they have enough clothes to wear? Are these funds sufficient to send a child to school? According to state norms and standards, a family applying for utility subsidies is also regarded as being insolvent. The social services system doesn't come cheap, but if we speak from the perspective of a person, of its applicability to overcome in difficult situations in life, it is invaluable. Targeted help is the main area of reform, which can only be provided by social services. One of the first steps for this reform to take place is that the monopoly on the market, this market of social services, should be broken up. That is, non-governmental, private organizations need to be allowed to join the market for providing social services. This is what we're talking about. This is how it's done all over the world. We have a strategy for reforming institutional care for children and parenting. It has such an indicator set which provides that in 10 years, at least 50% of the social services market should come from non-government organizations. First of all, it isn't really the function of local authorities or the state to provide such a specific, highly targeted service. In addition, the standards for social services require updating. After all, non-government organizations cannot follow the same state standards set by the Ministry of Social Policy, experts say. Correspondingly, they're unable to qualify for funds from the state budget. Social policy has to be effective. It must improve the quality of life for citizens by providing them with the necessary support and protection. It's very important to make sure that the new policy of community development focuses on overcoming poverty by creating new jobs and developing the local economy. In order to help people, we don't need to pay them big sums in various types of social benefits. People shouldn't seek welfare from the authorities. They should seek various forms of assistance for the development of their own business, launching their own entrepreneurial initiatives, and participating in various investment projects. The new law provides a classification of social services. They are aimed at preventive measures in society, social support and social services for citizens. That is aimed at minimizing the negative consequences of difficult life circumstances, maintenance of livelihoods and social status. Experts have already called the reform of the social services system the reform of the decade. Under conditions of decentralization and reform of institutes of state governance, it turns into a vital instrument for providing social security in the country.